Code of Corporate Governance for Listed Companies, Banks and DFIs, Lecture Number 2. Hello everyone, this is Imran Minhas and I welcome you to the second session on Code of Corporate Governance. In this session I am going to discuss why corporate governance is important, reasons why this subject gained so much importance globally within the corporate sector and regulatory authorities. We shall also be discussing the international developments on this subject, incentives for embracing the best corporate governance standards and basic tools for sound corporate governance. Why corporate governance? One of the key questions to ask is why corporate governance? Actually, the corporate governance ensures that businesses have appropriate decision-making processes and controls in place so that the interests of all stakeholders, including the shareholders, employees, suppliers, customers and the community, are balanced. It is believed that 1. Survival of the organization depends on complete adherence to good corporate governance, only. 2. The governance codes and guidelines are to help governments, organizations and individuals to improve the legal, institutional and regulatory framework for corporate governance in their countries and to provide guidance and suggestions for stock exchanges, investors, corporations and other parties that have a role in the process of developing good corporate governance. 3. Listed companies and banks are critical components of an economy. 3. The banks are custodian of public money and listed companies use substantial public funds. 3. Banks and setup of listed companies functions only when investors, depositors, borrowers and society have full confidence in the system. 3. It is crucial, therefore, that they have strong corporate governance. 4. Number of committees and forums has issued principles and codes. The Cadbury Committee document, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD Code, Combined Code of London Stock Exchange, the Blue Ribbon Committee in United States, and the Code of Corporate Governance issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. 5. Code highlights the need for banks to set strategies for their operations and establish accountability for executing these strategies. 6. Purpose is that everyone must know the existing condition, decision made, is integrally related to accountability in the sense that market participants get sufficient knowledge to make judgment regarding management of a bank. 7. In Pakistan, we have passed first stage of drafting the Code of Corporate Governance as Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan issued Code of Corporate Governance, CCG, and State Bank of Pakistan issued many prudential regulations and instructions for improving corporate governance. Reasons why this subject has gained so much importance. Corporate governance is important because it creates a system of rules and practices that determines how a company operates and how it aligns the interest of all its stakeholders. Good corporate governance leads to ethical business practices, which leads to financial viability. In turn, that can attract investors. Corporate governance is also important. 1. To education the public and to promote better understanding of corporate governance practices. 2. To provide board of directors and management adequate powers and responsibilities to stand accountable to the shareholders. 3. To promote induction of independent, non-executive directors. 4. To recognize issues of continuity of management through succession planning and appropriate allocation of resources. 5. To encourage adoption of internationally accepted accounting principles, standards of financial disclosure, conflict of interest disclosure, antitrust laws, and bankruptcy laws. 6. To optimize matrix of incentives, check and balances, communication, fairness, disclosure, transparency, business ethics and social responsibility. 6. It intends to balance economic and social goals and individual and shared objectives. 7. To make corporations feel the need of good corporate governance in a globalized world and encourage them to proactively design their culture-specific codes and actively implement, instead of sitting and waiting for rules to be imposed from external constituents. Worldwide campaign for financial sector liberalization, deregulation and privatization leading to a variety of models of ownership and management. Networking and integration of financial institutions among themselves as well as with other industries has complicated the economic landscape, which is loaded with systemic risk of institutional failure. We have a free marketplace where only shared interest is profit maximization. In this state of affairs, good corporate governance should come in action to set rules of the game. The world is now smaller due to progress in technology. It is volatile and interlinked. Money instantly flows around. A mistake in one part of the financial world rapidly spreads and affects the whole system. The best way to identify and block this flow of dirty money. Every country needs to interface its banking system with the international grid according to best standards and practices or corporate governance. It is beyond doubt that for any system to demonstrate good corporate governance it needs integrated efforts of regulatory agencies, professional boards, vigilant shareholders and enlightened leadership to come into action. International developments in corporate governance. In the area of corporate governance lots of work have been done in the recent past and following committees have played important role in gradual developments in corporate governance. 1. Basel Committee on Banking Supervision is the primary global standard setter for the prudential regulation of banks and provides a forum for regular cooperation on banking supervisory matters. 1. The committee issued core principles for effective bank supervision. 2. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, issued principles of corporate governance. 3. Cadbury Committee worked on financial aspects of corporate governance. 4. King's Committee on Corporate Governance. It established recommended standards of conduct for boards and directors of listed companies, banks, and certain state-owned enterprises. 4. It included not only financial and regulatory aspects, but also advocated an integrated approach that involved all stakeholders. 5. The Blue Ribbon Committee handles all matters relating to the investigation of malfeasance, misfeasance and nonfeasance in office by officers and employees of the government, its branches, agencies, subdivisions and instrumentalities. 5. It worked on improving the effectiveness of corporate audit committees. 6. European Association of Securities Dealers developed a pan-European corporate governance code that could be adopted by companies from any jurisdiction. 7. Committee on Corporate Governance, South Korea, recommended that shareholders are responsible for making efforts to actively exercise their voting rights. Following are the incentives for embracing best corporate governance standards. Adherence to corporate governance will likely lower the chances of bankruptcy, malpractices like corruption, legal issues etc. Strong corporate governance plays a vital role in the long-term success of companies. At the same time, it may also result in value creation for investors. The incentives for embracing the best corporate governance standards includes but not limited to the following. 1. Listed companies and individual banks and those who own and manage them. Adoption of internationally accepted governance standards will help them to achieve their corporate aims. 2. Banking industry, as a whole can, by increasing compliance in the banking system, attract depositors, borrowers, counterparties and the investors. 3. Shareholder ensure that their sponsorship is adequately protected against all risks and wealth and multiplied. 4. States, regulators, will strengthen banking sector and, therefore, their economies and discourage fraud and management. 5. Society at large makes sure that total social reward is maximized. Basic tools for sound corporate governance. 1. Appointment of key personnel after fit and proper criteria. 2. Promotion of corporate values. 3. Articulation of corporate strategy for success and measurement of individuals' contribution. 4. Assignment of clear-cut responsibilities to all segments, players. 5. Institution of a forum interfacing the BOD and SM and auditors. 6. Putting in place sound internal control, including internal audit, external audit, risk management functions independent of business lines. 7. Special monitoring of conflict of interest within the bank. 8. Offer of incentives to senior management in the form of compensation, promotion etc. 9. Channeling flow of information within and outside the organization. Thanks for watching. We shall continue our discussion in the next video. Till then please and keep sharing knowledge with your colleagues and friends.